In this video, I want to show you how to create a pneumatic tent structure using the pressure load component. As you can see, we want to get this kind of structure. So this is actually built upon the previous model I demonstrated in the previous video. Well, it is created by just defining a plain rectangular mesh, and then I got the four corners and anchored them to the ground. I can also get the rectangle, the boundary of that mesh, by exploding that rectangle to just get the four lines of that boundary, and then divide that curve into a few points. For example, here I just divide each edge to three segments. And then in addition to those corner points, you can actually divide the entire list of the points that you have here. Even you can remove this because you already have the corner points as the points in the division. You can actually play around with the strength. Here in this example, you're actually going to see this effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just first disconnect it to show you what happens if you go by default of 10,000 unit of strength. Then I define the edge length, and well, I put it, just put it to the maximum value to show the result, and then I drop the show button to show the preview. Now, in the previous video, in the previous model, just disconnect that one. We used the load component. Now this time I want to use pressure. You can find the pressure here under the gold mesh. So we previously used the vertex loads, and here is the pressure that we want to use. Earlier we used the load under the goal point. So under the goals for mesh, I drop the pressure component. The pressure component asks for the mesh, so you need to connect the mesh to it, while the load component asks for the point. So you need to deconstruct the mesh and give it the vertices to be able to run it. And also it asks for the strength. I would just go with a little bit of strength, a number between 0 to 1, or even less than that. And you see, when you can't see anything actually, because when I hit the button or turn this to true, you see something, it's just exploding here, and you can't see anything. And that's what actually happens because you're assuming that you're pressing that tent structure with great pressure than the material can stand. So you will explode your structure. So what you need to do, first of all, you need to reduce that stretch at the length. Still, you see something occurs here, but still, again, you explode it. Here is when you need to reduce the strength of anchor points and reduce it to something like, for example, 100 rather than 10,000. Now, when I hit the button, still, it seems that I have a great intensity. So I'm going to reduce the strength of the pressure, reduce the stretch at the length, and reduce, maybe I think I should be okay with the 100. So now when I press the button, I see something happening here. Now the pressure is a little bit low, so I'm gonna like increase it gradually. But you see, you cannot increase it to some certain levels because you may explode your structure. So for the pressure strength, you should be careful. And also, with this minimal strength, if you increase the stretch at the edge, you will see that again, you will like pull this tent structure too much, so it will collapses. It will collapse. And then also if you increase that strength of anchoring, if you reduce it too much, like to 1, it seems that you're not actually connecting that points to the location of the anchors you placed here. So not too lenient, but not too much of strength. Like still 1,000, it looks good, but definitely not 10,000. So when you go with the pressure, you see that you need to reduce these stretch values and the strengths and these strengths. Another thing that I want to show you that will come into play and also impact that stability of this pneumatic structure is that like the previous video where you picked 3 points on the mesh. So here I use pull points, and here are those random points I dropped onto the plane, and then I picked 3 points on the mesh closest to those 3 random points, and then I move them to a different Z value. You can either like give it different number sliders, or you can drop gene pool and say, well, I have 3 and I want to change it between like -10 to 10. And this is it. So these are the points, and then we're going to connect that to your solver component. Now I'm going to play around with these, as you see here. And when you actually pull some other points, then you will see that may also impact the strength and load bearing capacity of this kind of like pneumatic structure. So this is another way that you can create a pneumatic structure by using the pressure load option.